Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode in our TNA What If series in TEW 2020. I, of course, am CR Daredevil, bringing you all of the live action, and we are on the road to Slammiversary with another episode of Impact, featuring a lot of interesting matches happening tonight. None of them really announced ahead of time, and we'll kind of announce a couple of them as the show goes on. But in order for that show to go on, we need to actually run the show. In front of 4,283 people at the Magnus Arena in Colorado, we open up Impact with the TNA World's Heavyweight Champion Magnus out there with his wife, Mickie James. And the two have a bit of a promo, kind of a dual promo here, where Magnus says that he doesn't care if AJ Styles was promised any sort of title opportunity when he came back to TNA Wrestling. He is the one who dictates who gets the championship opportunities, and AJ Styles is simply not in Magnus's league, which is a very bold claim in itself. Mickie James then says that ever since she's come back to TNA, to Impact, she's seen Madison Rayne, continuing to have this fairly decent reign going on here as the Knockouts champion. But Mickie James wants to put an end to that because Magnus and Mickie James wants to reign atop of TNA Wrestling as the king and queen of this company. So they kind of brag a little bit, they kind of talk a little bit as the show gets off to a strong start. And then they get interrupted by yours truly, your boy, CR Daredevil, who comes out. I come out to the stage area. Maria, my assistant, with me there. And I get on the mic and I say, you two seem to be very confident about this so-called king and queen of TNA. You seem to be super confident about that. But what I'm seeing in the ring are a couple of egotistical maniacs, really. I mean, you guys think that you run this company and this business when you really don't. Magnus, you're the TNA World's Heavyweight Champion, but you haven't retained that championship without someone from Team Dixie getting involved. It hasn't happened yet. And Mickie, you're a great in-ring competitor, but so is Madison Rayne. And Madison Rayne has had a very good reign as the TNA Knockouts champion. But if you two want to talk crazy, if you two want to be a little off in your heads, then go ahead. You go ahead and do that. Because tonight, we're going to change both of those thoughts. See, Mickie, you want to be known as the queen of TNA. You want to be the Knockouts champion. You want to be the one that's dominating the Knockouts division, all that kind of stuff, being at the top of the Knockouts division, if you will. We take on somebody here tonight who's been rising in the Knockouts division. You can go one-on-one with a rising young star in Evie. So Mickie James is going to go one-on-one with Evie here tonight. And then I turn to Magnus and I say, as for you, sir, Mr. TNA World's Heavyweight Champion himself, tonight you're going to defend that championship sitting on your shoulder. Of course, everybody's, the crowd's going crazy as Magnus is not happy about this. And, second for pause, for the cheers, then go back into it. True wrestling acumen there. And I say, but you know what? I'll be a fair. I've always tried to be a fair authority figure here in TNA so far. I'll be fair. I will let you go and pick anyone in the back that you'd like to take on with that championship on the line. The only two rules that exist with that title match is A, it can't be a member of Team Dixie that you face, and B, that truth be told, Team Dixie can't be anywhere nearby. In fact, if any member of Team Dixie gets involved in that match, you will be stripped of the TNA World's Heavyweight Championship. And the crowd goes crazy. They love the idea of this. Magnus is losing his mind. And then I'm just like, we'll see you guys later. Just turn around and leave. I don't have a catchy ending segment catchphrase yet, but so there you go. So yours truly has made here tonight Mickie James versus Evie on this show, as well as a TNA World Heavyweight Championship matchup with Magnus defending against an opponent of his choosing, as long as it's not a member of Team Dixie, nor can Team Dixie get involved in the match itself. So it'd be interesting to see who he ends up picking in this match. We move on from that, which got 49, which wasn't bad, to a match that got a poor rating. Kind of rough there, as Eric Young defeats Rockstar Spud in 8:34 by pinfall to fast roll-up. Of course, this is fallout from last week when Eric Young, Paul London, EC3, and Rockstar Spud kind of got into it with each other. Spud and EC3 were bragging about the fact that they've won both tag matches they've had against London and EY. So it led to a singles match between these two, and Eric Young was actually able to get the victory. So, not sure what this means. Not sure if this means that, that Eric Young should be getting a title shot at the X Division Championship. The championship that Rockstar Spud seems to want another shot at, I guess. I'm not sure what all this means, but on this night, EY getting momentum on his side with a roll-up victory over Rockstar Spud. 49 rating. Was hoping for a little bit better rating, but you know what? I'll take it. It's fine. But Eric Young getting the victory here tonight. Then after that, we have a promo where Austin Aries, he's not hyping up his upcoming match with James Storm, by the way. Austin Aries comes out to the ring, and he says that him and AJ Styles were able to get the job done at Sacrifice, but he knows that Styles is moving on to other things. He knows that Styles is moving on to try to get a shot at the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, but the truth is that he wants a shot at that title too. In fact, if you're going to go based off the idea that momentum is on their side, he was part of the winning team at Sacrifice as well. So there should be no reason why Austin Aries shouldn't be considered for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And then, as Aries is cutting this promo, that's when you just hear the crack open of a cold one and beer money. Out from the back comes Beer Money, Bobby Roode, and James Storm. I don't know why Aries is off script for this. Maybe I must put that by accident. But Beer Money come out, and they kind of just start laughing. They're like, you think you are done with us first off, and that you honestly deserve a shot at the TNA World Heavyweight Championship? Roode is like, you lost to me a few weeks ago on Impact. You would be behind me in any sort of ranking for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. But maybe this is just your deluded mind. Maybe you get a victory leeching off of someone else, and suddenly you're in this deluded mindset where you have to perform well for the fans and be all smiley and happy. We keep telling you, you're not getting anything until you embrace the truth. Until you embrace the fact that you, Austin Aries, are not a nice guy. You're not a good guy. And until you embrace that, Beer Money is going to be in your way, stopping you at every fork in the road. 62 rating for this segment here, as it kind of continues on the storyline there. We'll have to see what is next in the story between Austin Aries and Beer Money. Then after that, bout that had decent wrestling, not much heat, Rhino in a 57 rated matchup defeats Petey Williams in 707 by pinfall with a gore. 52 from Petey Williams, 47 from Rhino. This was honestly just getting Rhino a victory. I'm not sure why. Just an awful gimmick. Okay. Rhino usually does a little bit better in ring, so that's why I was kind of confused why he only had a 47, but apparently it's just his awful gimmick that hurt him, which is kind of weird because he's had an awful gimmick for a while. But whatever. He's just off tonight, I guess. Nevertheless, he gets the victory over Petey Williams with a gore, as we kind of are slightly... You guys wouldn't have seen it too much because you've only really seen one maybe 2 matches of his. But we're kind of slightly building, like secretly slightly building up Rhino. The only loss he's actually taken in this save so far was a loss to Austin Aries on Explosion. Otherwise, he's now with this victory, he's gone to 6-1 in the save so far. So, kind of slightly being built up for possibly something. We'll have to see what that possibly ends up being. But Rhino gets a victory here over Petey Williams, and we'll have to see where things go from there for him. After that, Colt Cabana and Jimmy Jacobs, who are set for tag team action up next. They cut a promo before the match where they say that the Motor City Machine Guns seem to want a title shot. And they normally would have no problem defending the titles against the Guns. But they also want to respect the other tag teams here in TNA Wrestling. So they feel that if the Guns really want a title shot, that the Guns should have to earn said title shot. So they say that they just got done talking to Daredevil, yours truly, in the back. And they say that next week on Impact, there will be a number 1 contenders match for the TNA World Tag Team Championships to have a shot at the titles at Slammiversary. So that'll be a big match next week. It's not revealed how many teams are part of it or what kind of a match it is or anything like that. It's just announced that there will be a number 1 contenders match for the tag team titles at Slammiversary next week on Impact, and that the Motor City Machine Guns are in it. Only got a 47. Slightly disappointed by that. Felt like Colt Cabana and Jimmy Jacobs are good enough talkers that should have been a better rating. I'm not sure what happened there, but whatever. Then the tag team champions go out and defeat the Von Erichs in 9:17 when Jimmy Jacobs gets a submission victory over Ross Von Erich with the end time. 48 rating for the match. 58 from Colt Cabana, 43 from Jimmy Jacobs, who was really off his game. 32 from Ross, and 30 from Marshall, who do show excellent chemistry team together, so that's cool. But tag team champions, non-title matchup, get the victory and get some more momentum before next week's number 1 contenders match. Then after that, an angle that got the crowd hotter. But it did lose heat for the storyline. So, 6-1, half dozen of another. We have Jeff Hardy backstage. Kind of one of those like weird Jeff Hardy promo things where it's kind of like a darkened room and he's got like weird face paint on and all that. And he says that he may have lost at Sacrifice to Christopher Daniels. And it was tainted. There was, some underhanded, there was a little bit of underhanded tactics that happened, but he's not going to complain about that because he's been in situations like this before. He knows that he could have easily been outnumbered, and he respects the fact that he lost. But losing one match, losing one battle, if you will not cause you to lose the overall war. For there will be another battle, and he will stop this supposed savior from trying to do what he's going to try to do. So he says that he is issuing a challenge for the rematch between Christopher Daniels and Jeff Hardy at Slammiversary. And he says, as for Kazarian, well, I have a few phone calls in to take care of that situation. So we'll have to see if the challenge is accepted. As of right now, Jeff Hardy is issuing the challenge to Christopher Daniels for a rematch at Slammiversary. Then after that, in that match that was made earlier in the night, Mickie James, in a great back-and-forth matchup with Evie, gets the victory in 10:09 by pinfall to Mickie DT. 53 rating for the match, 54 from James, 33 from Evie. Mickie James able to defeat the young upstart competitor in Evie, and is able to kind of gain a little bit more momentum on her way to trying to earn a shot at the Knockouts Championship. We'll have to see where things go with that. Then after that, we have a promo from Abyss, who says that he heard what Samoa Joe had to say last week, and he accepts. He has no problem accepting. At Slammiversary, it's going to be Samoa Joe versus Abyss in the rubber match. And he says that he talked to Dixie Carter, who does still have management, who does still have authority around here, even if Daredevil seems to be given a lot of that authority. And he says that next week on Impact, it will be, he has had on good word that he and Samoa Joe will pick representatives, and whoever wins that matchup, the person that they're representing will get to pick the stipulation for Slammiversary. Abyss says that he will obviously be picking a member of Team Dixie. He's just not going to reveal which one yet. And Joe, well, if Joe has any friends who truly want to step up for him, he's more than welcome to try to pick one of those friends. But regardless of what the stipulation is, Abyss will send the Samoan submission machine, if you will, straight to hell, courtesy of the Black Hole Slam. So Abyss kind of making it clear that he is not worried about whatever the stipulation might be at Slammiversary, because he's going to send Samoa Joe to hell, apparently. So we'll have to see where that plays out. But yeah, next week on Impact, there will be a one-on-one matchup where a representative for Samoa Joe and a representative for Abyss will face each other, and the winner will be the winning participant. Man, I can't speak right now. The participant who wins in that matchup, their person that they are representing gets to pick the stipulation for the match at Slammiversary. Then after that, we have our TNA World Heavyweight Championship match, as Magnus has apparently picked Hernandez to defend the championship against. And true to his word, true to Daredevil's word, that is, and just kind of prove a point, really, Magnus goes out and defeats Hernandez in 9-12 by pinfall with a Tormentum to make defense number 5 of the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. 65 rating for the match. 62 from Magnus, 48 from Hernandez, as Magnus gets the victory here. I guess he chose Hernandez because, Hernandez hasn't really had much success around here recently. So maybe that's why he chose him. I don't know. But he chose him, and Magnus gets the victory. After the match, as if it's any sort of a surprise at all, Team Dixie show up, which is just Abyss and EC3 in this case. They show up to help attack Hernandez until AJ Styles and Samoa Joe come running down to make the save. Only got a 57. Not sure exactly why. There's probably a couple people you can blame in this, but yeah. So Styles and Joe make the save here, and we'll have to see what ends up happening with that. But 57 rating for this, as Styles and Joe make the save, keeping Team Dixie from attacking Hernandez even more. Not necessarily because they're wanting to help Hernandez, but more so just they're wanting to go after people who they've been feuding with recently, and kind of go from there. Then we have a backstage interview with Jay Lethal, who is asked by Christy about how the fact that he continuously seems to be ducking serious challenges here in TNA Wrestling, which Lethal just laughs at Christy about and says, "Are you kidding me? I am the greatest here in TNA Wrestling. And if you honestly think for a second that I'm ducking true challenges, well, then maybe next week I'll have to accept a true challenge, so to speak. Maybe I'll have to let some big star come step up to me next week on Impact and face me in that ring." So, Jay Lethal potentially teasing the idea that he's going to face a big star next week on Impact. We'll have to see if that ends up being true. Not sure, but there you go. 49 rating for that segment there. Then we have what ends up being just a big old brawl. ODB and Gail Kim are having a rematch from Sacrifice. Of course, that ODB won via a crazy kind of upset flash roll up over Gail Kim. Gail Kim lost her mind after the match and attacked her. So these two are having a rematch here tonight on Impact, and it just turns out to be a big old brawl that ends up going to a double disqualification. The two are just fighting with each other all throughout the ring, and then all on the outside there. The referee ends up just throwing the whole match out, disqualifying both of them. Nothing really gets resolved here, obviously, but the storyline does advance and gain heat, so there's that. With a 51 rated matchup here, as these two are just continuously fighting with each other. They're just gonna brawl all over the place, apparently. They are brawling to the back, and who the hell knows where to from there. Then after that, we have a promo before tonight's main event, which I forgot to mention earlier. The main event is actually going to be MVP going one-on-one with the former #1 contender for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, Mr. Anderson. So that should be a really good matchup here. But we have an interview from Bobby Lashley backstage with Christy Hemme. Lashley says that he's going to be keeping a close eye on the main event here tonight, and that just because MVP was able to beat him at Sacrifice does not mean that MVP is going to be able to stop him, because he's Bobby Lashley, and he will be causing hurt upon MVP. Only got a 43. Lashley's promo skills are not the greatest right now. But, I'll still take it. Then the main event. Oof. The main event did not do as hot as I was hoping. About that good heat and decent wrestling, MVP defeats defeats Mr. Anderson in 14-20 by pinfall with a playmaker. 55 rating for the match. Lack of psychology on display. That didn't help things. Anderson with a 60, MVP with a 59. MVP gets a victory. Gets a clean victory over the former #1 contender. So maybe that puts MVP in talks for a shot at the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. We'll have to see. But MVP getting a victory here to end Impact, as Mr. Anderson it's going to have to kind of reevaluate things at this point. He lost his last opportunity title match, and now he lost MVP here in the main event of Impact. So he's going to have to reevaluate things at this point. I just wanted to see... Oh, due to lack of associated storyline too. Dang it, I knew I should have tried to advance the MVP and Lashley storyline in this. I was going to, but I ended up not doing so in the last minute, and it hurt me. Show gets a 62 rating. Not fantastic. It lost its popularity in 18 regions. Not fantastic. But you know what? Sometimes that just happens. Sometimes you just have kind of iffy matches or iffy shows. Probably should have put the TNA World Title match in the main event, though. I wasn't expecting it to be 65, so that's why I didn't put it in the main event. Now I'll know for next time. Now I will know for next time. But, yeah, a very interesting show here. Only one actual, dark green thing that happened, and that was Austin Aries' promo. So not fantastic, but you know what? I'll take it. 62 rating. We'll see where things go from there. I think, there's some interesting story stuff coming out of this, though. We're going to have a #1 contenders match for the TNA World Tag Team titles next week on Impact. We're going to have the representative match. Biss's representative versus Samoa Joe's representative. Jay Lethal might be facing some big star next week. Not sure what big star he might be referring to, or anything like that, really, I guess. Could be one of those things where he isn't actually taking on a big star. He might just be saying this at this point. We're not sure. But yeah, on the night, just over 1 million viewers. 2,982 viewers over 1 million. So not the greatest, but it still wasn't too bad, all things considered. NXT did have a slightly better rated show than us tonight. They had Nick Dinsmore and Chad Gable defeating the Backroom Boys in the main event. So, there's that for them, I guess. Ring of Honor featured Elijah Burke and Scott Steiner defeating Matt Hardy and Matt Taven to a 63 rating. That's something. That is something. That is something. By the way, I don't remember if I've said it on a previous episode or not. Not 100% sure. But just to reiterate, if I have said it, if not, just to clarify, when Jeff Hardy's been kind of talking a little bit about backup and stuff like that, I'm not bringing in Matt Hardy, just so we're clear. I'm not bringing in the Hardy Boys. Um, I just, I just didn't really, I don't really feel like it at this point. Um, One, I don't want to bring in too many more bigger stars, because some of the bigger stars I have on my roster right now are not happy about the fact that they're not being used every week. So I already kind of have some people complaining as it is. I don't want to keep bringing in more bigger stars at this point. And two, I think Matt's in here. I think he might start to be on a decline. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he might start to be. He does have a 66 in-ring performance for this match, but yeah, I think he might start to be on a decline. I don't know. We'll have to see. But I'm not really thinking that. I have a different person in mind for kind of helping watch Jeff Hardy's back. So I'd kind of get to that point. But yeah, kind of interesting to see how that plays out. We'll kind of have to see where things go from there. Just to look really quick here, that show being as low as it was didn't hurt us too much, because we're still 65s across the board, except for Hawaii, where it's 64. So, if we did lose any when we, like, whatever popularity we did lose with that 62 rated show, it was probably like 0.1 or 0.2%. It wasn't much of anything, because I think we're kind of already there to begin with. Yeah, we were already 65 to begin with. For some reason in May, we dropped down a whole percentage point, or a whole point in the US, which kind of sucked, but we're getting things kind of more steady with the 65 there. So yeah, we're gonna have to keep working and trying to get ourselves to the point that we can, really start making a big run here on in the show, that is. But anyway, enough of my random rambling here. Thank you all for watching. Definitely appreciate all the support you continue to have for this series and for so much else, so many other things on the channel. Greatly appreciate all the support. And until next time, we shall catch you all later.